Hello, and welcome to Starman and the Boomer. Apologies for being a couple of minutes late. We just had to make sure our audio was all balanced and fun stuff like that. But it's only 4 minutes past, so
Couple of minutes and
that's all good.
maybe a day or two late as well. But I mean,
Oh yeah, we are. Well, I did inform people beforehand we will be moving the stream to Saturday. Thanks for bearing with us with that,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
It's kind of funny, but for once I ended up having some work to do, and I ended up having to get very early Friday, so that's the reason this was moved to Saturday. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We're finally. Apparently, I'm kind of quiet.
Are we? Oh,
And
not
I'm
again.
Trig.
Okay, I will see what we can do about that. I tried turning you up. I'll turn you up
How's the
even.
overall volume, guys? We'll just do a little bit of that stuff.
I can do
It's been
them.
difficult because it seems to be I'm either peaking or I'm quiet, and we don't seem to be able to get much in between. But generally, it should be fine. I know we've got a lot of subjects to cover today, though, Trig, haven't we?
We've got a fair few because we're covering like a catch up from what we were going to do at the beginning of the year, and then we didn't. For various reasons, you took a couple of weeks off, and I can't blame you for that.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were having I was kind of envious. You were having a good time and enjoying yourself and having a break from the
Yeah,
madness.
I was having a break from the madness. Yes, it seems they're saying I'm still a teeny bit quiet.
Okay, we
Um,
will. I will. You know what? I will take the hit. I will deafen you or deafen myself with your volume at this end, and hopefully that will do something. Let me see if I can do something a bit more. Hold
you can just turn your master volume down as well. That won't affect it on the stream.
on. I can. I can turn you up. I can turn Discord right up at this end. Let's
I
see
don't
if that
know. I
works.
don't know. It's weird how it affects on OBS sometimes, guys. So we did try and settle this, but sometimes when you go live, it seems to actually change the settings. So
There we go. That's looking better. That's looking a lot better. I don't know. Yeah, you are. Well, if you'll say something, you were before.
yes, I'm a lot clearer now. If
Good.
anything, you're a little bit quieter than me now. So
I
let
can
us
do
know.
something
Yeah,
about
much
that.
better, much better.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I don't. I think if you boost your volume like 5% now or something.
I can boost
Yes.
myself and get very loud if I want to, but
We don't hear that loud, but like yeah, we're trying to make sure. We've had trouble in the past with just the audio being quiet overall. It seems to change even if we don't touch anything. So again, apologies for the slight audio balancing, but yes, welcome back to Starman and the Boomer, where we're finally doing a stream we were supposed to do in January. Really, we were going to kind of do a year in review, but there's not actually a lot that I don't know. A year in review would be a bit weird because there's so many big stories to do, and that kind of
oh
didn't really work.
Oh no, we could have started. I mean, you could have. Looking back at the last year, this time last year, New Guy meme had happened and then gone, and then we were into what's going off in China, and oh, some people seem to be falling down ill in China. Oh my God, they're welding people into their homes. What's going off
Yep.
there? Oh, better not let people come over from China because oh no, you can't say that, you're racist. And then holy shit, the rest of the world fucking fell down.
Yep.
And we all know what happened after that.
Well, it turns out the Chinese were just being cowards.
Yeah.
They cannot coof.
They are
And
they
as
are
as
weak
we
to the
yeah,
coof. Weak to the
they are.
coof.
They have a coof weakness. It's the seems to be like disease is the type that's good against them.
Yeah, I mean
Hmm.
literally it kills them in droves and we get a bit of a sniffle. It's not good for grandma, sure, but the rest of us,
Yeah, yeah,
well, whatever. Um
yeah. It's just 2020. China, no. China, no, please.
and then nobody got to
Biz
see
China.
anybody ever again. Oh.
The end. Yes. Ah, fuck. Yeah, I hope you all are having a good Saturday night. Um, there's a I don't know, there's a little bit of conflict with people streaming. I know EFAP's on right now, but like generally try and stream Thursday because there's less conflict there, but like we
Yeah.
couldn't. So I think Saturday is our next best day. So this ends up happening again. If there's no stream on Thursday, there's a good bet they'll probably do it on Saturday.
It is Saturday's a good reserve. It is definitely a good reserve because, as you say, usually we end up running into if it's on a Wednesday or I can't do a Wednesday because you're always co-hosting
Yeah, we're doing seal of
with Rose.
approval. Unfortunately, Rose was dealing with some stuff on Wednesday because one of her dogs died, unfortunately.
Oh
So that had to be done.
no!
Yeah, but
Oh
she's telling me
rip!
she'll be getting a new dog or cat, so that's good.
Awesome, awesome.
Dev's
But
still planning to put up videos. They put up a poll recently about the kind of content people want to watch. So yes, people keep spamming me, but yes, those lost Dumping Scrumps are still coming. This is still happening.
the lost dumps.
Please be patient. The lost dumps, yes. The lost dumps. No, those will be appearing at some point. As always, I've pinned it as someone suggested last stream. But it's also in the description. But we do have a Streamlabs link there.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to donate anything, we got quite a few last week from people, which is very nice.
We did. We got a couple of Twixes and even a Kit Kat.
We should. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, we got enough last week to get one of those Kit Kat golds, didn't we?
Yeah, it was nice. Caramel.
I've never had one of those actually.
You know, it's not bad. Actually, it's a bit sort of a bit caramelly, but that's okay. I like caramel. I saw it for the meme and was like, hey, wow, gold Kit Kat. It's
yeah.
It looks like a Twix, but it's actually a Kit Kat, and there's 4 fingers. And 4 fingers,
Oh,
I am told, is always better than 2.
Oh, god damn it.
You know how long I've been saving that joke up for?
Yes.
Too long. Anyway.
Far too long. That's such a fucking dad joke. Anyway, again, before we start, a little bit of shilling. I'm on Minds. Trig's on Minds. I use Minds a lot. It's a very good platform, good community there. I'll probably shill it again at the end as well. But yes, please, it's in the description. Please do follow us on Minds. You'll find a good rate of interaction there, and you'll find a good community if you join the site. Also, again, link below. I mentioned seal of approval. There will be more dumps. I think as a playlist of dev stuff, link down there. And one more thing I'm promoting this week is my friend Marta, who does very nice, wholesome, chill watching streams on Twitch. I'll link that in the chat currently. But yes, I'll probably put that in the description at the end. But I've been trying to shill her because she doesn't get many people watching her. And she does very, very good streams. They're quite well set up. Just a good kind of chill Twitch environment without being kind of too twitchy. You know how Twitch streams can be. Oh, it's me, guys. And I'm wacky.
Uh-huh. Oh, I haven't
Trans rights, guys. Fucking Twitch streamers. They're so awful.
What a fucking... Anyway, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They are, though. It is. It's like YouTube gaming used to be back when it was like they were trying to be like children's entertainers. There's something of like the Jake Paul about a lot of Twitch streamers that seriously unnerves me. I don't know. There's that veneer of this is my broadcast personality and I fun. It just fucking Jesus.
Kill them all. Kill them all. Not really though. Not in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Literally. Hunt them down in their servers.
In Minecraft, yes, in Minecraft. Dearie me. Anyway, shall we actually get on with the topics we have at hand? Because we have quite a few things to cover. As you will see with our image there, because the thumbnail, yes, that is a David Dees image.
Yes.
God rest his paranoid bones.
Rest in peace, David Dees. You know, he did like artwork for Sesame Street originally and stuff. He was actually a very well sort of financed and really, really good artist that went, well, the CIA started messing around with his shoes, and after that, you know.
Yeah. David Jews took my shoes, Dees, yeah.
Oh, bless him. Bless him.
God bless him, yeah. But I've had a couple of messages from people. Apparently, there's a couple of people happy this is on Saturday because they can't catch our streams on Thursday. So that's good for you guys there.
Okay.
Swings and roundabouts, though. Shall we get on to our first story, though?
Sure. Which would you like first? Do you want the Amazon? Oh, we have a super chat already. Do you want the Amazon sidewalk? Are we going to go for that, or are we going to go straight into to Bill Gates's clownishly evil schemes?
I think the first one we should cover, because this is the newest one. Well, it's been going on for a few years now, actually. But there's the whole thing about Bill Gates blocking out the sun is kind of interesting. Because it sounds... We'll go into... There's quite a few angles to cover here, quite a few jokes we'll have to make. But yeah, there's a whole lot of shit happening here. And it's been brewing for quite a number of years. But it's a Bill Gates endorsed and funded plan to start blocking a portion of Earth's sunlight. This is true. And it is basically the Mr. Burns sun blocker. He is. Simpsons did do it. We were just watching the Simpsons did an episode of South Park, weren't we?
We were the one of my favorites. The Simpsons did it. The Sea People episode. The episode where where Chef thinks that the children have taken it in turns and raping and killing their teacher. And everyone should watch that. That's what was it? Season 6, episode 7. Yeah, great.
Yes,
great one. Great one. Yes. But in that, they reference this as well. That Mr. Burns, in this case, actually Mr. Gates, wants to hold the world to ransom by blocking out the sun. And as much as Snopes would have you believe that this is not true, or at least mostly false, it is. There is quite a bit of actual fact in this. It turns out.
This is actually happening, guys.
Essentially, do you want to cover? Because basically, as I understand it, it was him and a couple of engineering firms and universities have decided that.
First of all, let's read that. You got the Snopes up there.
I do.
Zoom in on it a bit. Let's just read what they're saying about this being false.
Okay.
Because when I mention this to people, like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. You're crazy. But just read Snopes' defense of this.
Mostly false, because what is true is that since 2007, Bill Gates has funded research initiatives that, in part, provide grants for experiments related to solar radiation management, a form of geoengineering controversially proposed as a last-ditch solution to an anthropogenic global warming. A Harvard experiment, so-called SCOPEX, is supported in part by these initiatives. What's false is that the project at issue in several sensationalized news stories is an experiment designed to collect data for the purpose of refining computer models that simulate solar radiation management, not to implement an actual test of practice. The most of the experiment was to do is to release at least 2 kilograms, 3 or 4 pounds, or 3.4 pounds, of non-toxic dust from a weather balloon 12 miles high into the sky. So they're just looking at it and maybe wondering. They're not actually going to do it, of course. No, they wouldn't actually do it.
Yeah, it's not that Bill Gates wants to block out the sun. It's just that Bill Gates wants to block out the sun.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. That their denial of it is confirming it. It's not blocking. It's like fortifying the election. He's not blocking out the sun. It's just solar radiation management. They're just managing solar radiation.
It's wild because it's. I don't know if. In fact, don't see this film. I'm not going to recommend a film. I'm going to mention a film now. But for God's sakes, don't watch Highlander 2. It ruins the great memories of Highlander 1.
Plot.
But it is the plot
of Highlander 2.
It is the plot of Highlander 2, where they block out the solar radiation and make the sky orange. In Highlander 2, there's an image of that, and it's a terrible film. Don't see it. But
I put it in stream resources, put an image of the Mr. Burns model there. I couldn't find a high-res image online. I actually had to clip that from the Disney Plus stream I've got. By the way, I got a free couple of months of Disney Plus. The service is shite. Don't use it. I wouldn't pay for it. I'm only using it because it's free. But that's literally Mr. Burns. Yeah, that's literally the Bill Gates plan.
Holding Springfield to ransom, essentially.
It's funny because do you remember a few years ago there was the whole global dimming scare? With all the particulates in the atmosphere.
Oh, vaguely, yes. It was gone fairly quickly. Have you got a link to that?
I'll try and find it. Yeah, it was in 2012. Here we go. Here's a Guardian article about it because they were really, really worried about global dimming at one point. It's a. I think mildly valid kind of thing about the fact that a lot of the particulates in the atmosphere. By the way, China again is mainly responsible for all of this. It's all fucking China. China pumps out like carbon particulates at a rate that is just ridiculous compared to the rest of the Earth because they have all those backyard fucking smelters and coal plants. that the Great Leap Forward made them get. But
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is smog. So
yeah, basically.
because this is what Bill is actually looking to do, is basically do exactly this. What I don't think the thing is I am not going to claim to be a great climatologist or know much, but you put stuff in the air, fog, smog, all of these things. What tends to happen is, yes, it might block out a bit of the heat, but anything that's radiated and stuck in, it will also reflect back. So you end up with it getting warmer, usually. It's like one of the greatest components or component gases to global warming that they don't mention. They often go, oh, CO2, blah, blah, blah. But the actual biggest one, the gas that's responsible for about 70% of the global warming effect, is actually water vapor in the form of clouds.
Yes.
What they're proposing is more clouds, essentially, in a different form, because they will put particulate matter up there. I guarantee you what will happen is they will find, oh, we've cloud seeded. Because this is what happens. You put small particles in the atmosphere, and you providing what is known as, let me get this right, condensation nuclei. In other words, things that water will condense on and form clouds. They've done this. Yeah. They know this. This is old experiments done way back when. I mean, you can see it. This is what happens when you have planes flying through the air and you get the trails behind them. When they're not chemtrails, they're just vortices or they're just particles of stuff from the engines, carbon, etc. And yeah, stuff condenses around it. And
yeah, so, it is. Yeah. It's cloud seeding. Yeah,
it's cloud seeding.
It's also. They want to do that. They also want to do it so it basically you have more particulate matter in the atmosphere, which creates a kind of haze, which again is the same. It's kind of a combination of them both. But you're right. I just quickly want to read. We have a donation here for $2.77, saying more Twixes for thou. Seen they have white Twixes now. Yes.
Oh,
there's a great advert. There's a great advert with white Twixes.
There is. I need to find a photo of that. There was a group of us. This was before the great lockdown happened. A few friends of mine were out on a bit of a rampage around London, and we found one of those. And one of my friends was standing in front of that, making various okay hand signals, etc. Because of course white Twixes are superior to normal Twixes, etc. For the memes. And yeah, I've got a photo of it somewhere, but God knows where the hell that is. I have so many photos, it's untrue. But yes.
Yeah, to be fair, the advert's kind of funny too.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I will find that photo. That's God knows where that is. Anyway, I need to find some of those. White Twix.
But yeah, the rest also heard they are superior to the brown ones from a stranger with a very interesting tattoo, which I can only describe as a windmill. Very curious chap he was. And that's from Coventry 301. So thank you for the donation there. We will buy the occasional Twix with that.
Indeed. Twixes are good.
Twixes are good. I like Twixes. But anyway, yeah, it's curious that Bill Gates is talking about this because global dimming was a scare back in like 2012. In fact, it was a scare before that. People talked about it, and people talked about the massive negative impacts that would have to reducing the sun's luminosity. There was kind of a panic about it. It's amazing that we've had global cooling, global warming, and global dimming in pretty quick succession. And both global cooling and global dimming made their way out of the headlines. And now we've seen global dimming rehashed as an initiative. Surprisingly, it's now seen as a good thing? ?
Of course it's a good thing. Bill Gates is doing it. And of course Bill Gates can't do anything wrong. You know, we all remember the joys of Windows Millennium Edition.
Bill Gates is really fucking like
everything.
A couple of years ago, a lot of people talking about the Gates Foundation, and there's a lot of QAnon shit out there about that. That isn't true. There is a lot of misinformation put out there. Some I would say intentionally, but that's just me. Yeah, and there's a lot of misinformation. A lot of Bill Gates is a lizard person. A lot of misheard stuff. A lot of game of telephone. but there's also a lot of these hilarious, yes, the media has sensationalized this. The whole Bill Gates blocks out the sun. It's funny, it's a joke, but it's the essence of what is true. I put it in the links section, I think, by accident, Trig, but there's a little infographic here. You'll probably have to zoom in on it.
Ooh,
because
okay.
it's a long boy image. It's hilarious because it's trying to make this out to be a good thing. The thing is, they're saying they're not going to do this, but they're also saying it's global intervention.
The thing is, where does Bill Gates get the right to do something quite this drastic that will affect so many people?
It will affect the entire planet.
Mm-hmm.
This will affect the entire planet.
We
have no real way of knowing the knock-on effects.
It is quite atrocious, and I'm sorry, but Bill Gates has a long history of being a little bit shifty. No, I don't know if you've ever seen the old film Pirates of Silicon Valley, where it basically details the early story of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, where Apple and Microsoft were rising to power. It covers them both very, very well. Bill Gates got to power, got all of his money by being a very clever man, but a little bit shifty. And he's remained a little bit shifty throughout his life, and the whole Bill Gates Foundation, etc., was set up as a philanthropy in inverted commas, which was more to whitewash his reputation, which for the longest time was, this guy's a bit shifty. We don't really like him, but we don't have any option because everybody uses Windows and DOS, because he's taken over the IT industry and everybody uses this now.
Well, Bill Gates isn't unique in that the Gates Foundation and all these rich people foundations are used as a cover for their agendas. We all know about what happened with the Clinton Foundation and their Haitian vacations, let's say.
Indeed. Yeah.
There's a lot of these charitable kind of foundations that are used as covers for agenda, and there's a lot of non-profit misuse. It's.
I wish I had.
There's a great one. There's a great little hand wave at the bottom there. If you scroll down right to the bottom of this infographic, though, that says crops would benefit from reduced heat stress, but lower levels of direct sunlight could hamper growth.
I'll tell you now. Right? Anybody that's been involved in growing plants in any way, shape, or form, more sunlight, the better. You don't want to burn stuff from the heat, sure, because heat stress, yes, will damage crops. But you need light, because you know what? Plants grow because of photosynthesis. Yeah, that requires direct sunlight. There's a reason why crops grow like freaking crazy in, sort of the equatorial rainforest belt. Doesn't grow quite well in the desert because brutal heat. But we can go on to my talk about the deserts at another time.
We have some breaking news, by the way.
Yeah?
Trump was just acquitted again in his Senate trial.
Really? Acquitted? That's a shock.
Yeah, Trump was acquitted in the Senate trial. Well, they need 2/3 anyway. They were never going to get that. This was just another playing politics. But again, it
was a show trial. I've seen fairer attempts at it's literally Stalin-esque, and I'm glad.
It is.
I'm glad they acquitted him. But of course, that does mean that now the Republicans are going to have to bear the responsibility for all the Antifa violence that happens in the future.
Yes.
Apparently. Yeah. Christ. Good, because that was absolutely retarded. I don't even think they were allowed to impeach someone that's a private citizen now. I thought...
Yeah.
It was beyond retarded. Anyway.
The whole thing is they couldn't... They needed a simple majority to say it was quote-unquote constitutional, but they needed 2/3 to convict, and they were never going to get that. So Trump has not been impeached. Again. But yeah, as I was saying, though, the big thing about the whole Bill Gates taking your sunlight thing is this would have knock-on effects for the entire planet.
Oh, yeah.
And this would have massive knock-on effects for crop growing, which really... God, I've got too many links here. Tell you what, I'll repost it at the bottom just so we can get it up quickly.
Are we going to talk about Bill Gates owning all the farmland in America now?
Well, we can talk. Yes, we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about two other things first as well, though. You can get a link up about that actually. I don't have a link about that, but I forgot about that. He has been buying up a lot of farmland. Yeah.
He
The
has.
first one is though from the Guardian, so we're using a lot of very like I said. What I like doing in this stream is using a lot of extremely varied sources. Because there's a lot of stuff that's just out there that is just fact that you are being lied to about. And a lot of it isn't really left, right, divide stuff. A lot of it is like scattered all over the place. But this is an article, I think, from when was this published?
But the Guardian article about Monsanto.
Yeah, 2010.
2010. Yeah, it's not new
Yes.
news. He has been working
No.
with the great devil Monsanto for quite a while. And for anyone that doesn't know Monsanto are the guys that will genetically engineer crops so that as long as you use their fertilizer and their pesticides, will grow absolutely massive and abundant crops that are sterile, so you have to buy the seeds from them again next year so you can replant. You can't save some seeds and sell the wheat and save some seeds and then plant it again next year like farmers have been doing for the last 50,000 years. No, Monsanto make you buy it every single year from then because nature just isn't profitable.
There's been a lot of examples of companies. Well, Monsanto's the big one, but a lot of them, even people like Nestle, have gone into like seeds, in that they try and strong arm small African countries to outlaw seeding plants and make them reliant on their seed supply. Like they've really declared war on naturally seeding plants. It's kind of hilariously evil. And you're right. A lot of them will sell them a package. You have to have a certain soil pH, a certain fertilizer, and they'll sell you a farming package that's grossly expensive.
Yeah.
But you are kind of locked into their ecosystem. And they've managed to create DRM for farming. Not to be confused with the John Deere tractors that had DRM on them. That would break down on purpose if you didn't get them serviced every few months. That's a whole other story. But yeah, they essentially Monsanto. Why is the Gates Foundation, a supposedly non-profit organization to save the planet, investing in Monsanto, who is essentially the Skynet, the umbrella corp of plants? They are one of the most evil corporations in the world.
Because Bill Gates is evil and he's using his philanthropy to whitewash the fact that he is absolutely horrendous. But he can't help doing evil. He really can't. I mean, it's wild. Every time I find Bill Gates doing something, it's horrendous. Well, look into his polio vaccinations and how many people he's killed with polio in the process.
Oh yeah, the oral vaccine. We went over that in a previous stream, I think.
Yeah, I know.
With the conspiracy theories that are true. But yeah, there's been a lot of Gates-backed vaccine deaths. Which is, again, it's a matter of course that basically there was a lot of vaccine-acquired polio infections. Again, matter of record. This is not something we're making up. You can look this up. We will get any links for people who are skeptical if they really, really need us to. But like seriously, all this stuff is, again, just a matter of record. If you read further in the article, they talk about the fact that they've also got into bed with agribusiness, commodity giant Cargill. Basically, Monsanto is the seed arm. The Cargill is the agribusiness side of it, which is aggressively pushing fertilizer GM. I'm not against GM in principle. I think if you can make drought-resistant crops, if you can make crops that do better work, you should do. But we've been doing that for thousands of years naturally. It needs to be controlled. It needs to be regulated. Yes, there is concerns about them getting out. Yes, there is concerns about, well, originally the non-seeding GM was kind of a reassurance against these crops not getting out into the ecosystem.
It was used as a good excuse as to why that they weren't going to do that. Yes, they didn't. We don't want them to break out into the ecosystem and wipe out the natural habitat. But then they started wanting to wipe out the natural habitat and outlaw, naturally seeding plants. So you can only use Monsanto stuff. So lies, deception, and scum. And yes, as you say, genetic modification. Genetic modification is why we have breeds of dogs that were identifiable. It's why we have golden retrievers. Golden retrievers, pugs are perhaps a bad example of genetic modification. But there's good and bad to this. And as long as it's done with regards and, how shall we say, decency and humanity and involved in it, it's great. You know, golden retrievers are great. Cats are great. You know, the fact that we aren't being eaten alive by saber-toothed cats is good because they're now house pets and they now just go cute, roll on their back and give me food kind of behavior. Same with seeds. The reason we have wheat in the form we have it at the moment is because it basically got used more than spelt and various other grain seeds, and the wheat became what it is today. Genetic modification through natural selection, or modified natural selection through humans. That's fine.
Through some
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, to go through some recent stuff that Monsanto has done. In 2005, the DOJ filed a prosecution agreement with Monsanto because they had basically bribed a bunch of people in Indonesia to exclusively use their crops and force their crops on small farmers. In 2019, Monsanto France compiled a list of journalists and other figures with a rating of 1 to 5 on their opinions on agriculture, pesticides, GMOs, and health. This also listed a large amount of personal information, which went against the EU privacy initiatives. I forgot what that's called. You know, the one that we always have to agree with.
The GDRP. Yeah.
Yeah, they violate GDRP in collecting journalists and public figures' personal details and ranking them as friendly or non-friendly.
They're making lists of who they don't like. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's not psychotic.
That's just recent legal cases involving Monsanto. But Monsanto has been heavily criticized for the way, again, they aggressively push their products into developing nations to try and make these countries reliant on them and bloating the price of food and farming in those countries. Monsanto's kind of evil. They're kind of like Nestle in that way. Remember Nestle? Remember when Nestle caused all those deaths with pushing baby formula into Africa that didn't have the right nutrition in it?
Yeah. Wasn't it also Nestle that wanted basically to buy up all the water in California?
Yes, it is.
It was. Nestle are next level evil. Although I do like their coffee.
But there's another link here. They did the Keres 20. It's again the Gates Foundation Keres 2030 plan. Is the other part of this that Bill Gates is very interested in agriculture, especially GM agriculture, and especially these nefarious packages of selling people kind of entire ecosystems that you have to buy continuously from these sources. It's pitched as a way of increasing land productivity, but all it really does is make a dependency. Yeah. So Bill Gates is using a charitable organization to profit from misery in Africa. And his
it's essentially drug dealer tier sort of stuff. Here, try this stuff. It's really, really good. Yeah, I know it's cocaine mixed with heroin, but actually, you'll really like it. Give it a go. I'll give you a free sample. Yeah. What's that? You want more? Oh well, you're gonna have to pay for it now, and you can't get it from anywhere else. And in fact, if I find you getting it from anywhere else, well, then we will have to talk about things. Yeah, it is terrifying, evil. Yeah, they're basically drug dealers, but plant dealers, which some plants are apparently drugs. But we're not going to get into my particular views on plants and drugs and whether or not they should be legal or not. Well, not now. We can do that later, maybe.
Well, the thing is, the Gates Foundation's also been caught secretly hiring large PR firms to get quote-unquote scientists and academics that are in their pocket to put forward the fact that their initiatives are good, actually.
Scientists bringing out sort of... the tobacco industry used to do that a lot in the 80s and the 70s?
Yes, they did.
Oh, yeah, smoking actually is good for you. Here's a top athlete. He's been smoking all of his life, and he runs faster because of it, etc. Nonsense.
Well, the thing I'm getting at here, and the one I'm pushing, is that Bill Gates has interests both in terms of restricting access to sunlight and peddling GM crops and all the associated business with them. And it doesn't take a stretch to realize that that is a large conflict of interest. That if someone could say, "Oh dear, we blocked out 20% of the sunlight," normal crops won't grow anymore. But we can sell you these crops. We can sell you these less sunlight reliant crops from Monsanto,
Oh, oh,
Gates Foundation approved.
that
I
would
mean,
be.
it's not too much of a stretch to think that.
It's not.
Honestly, it's there's no like red lines here. There's no diagrams. The Gates Foundation and Bill Gates himself has an interest in a lot of very worrying pies. And what he does and what they do is they are trying to get control over ecosystem change. They want to control the amount of sunlight you have. They want to control what seeds you can buy, how your food is made. Basically, the basics. They also have a lot of interest in water as well. Like you mentioned with Nestle, there's a lot of water initiatives from the Gates Foundation. It's very worrying when it comes to, we talked about biological stuff, and their work in vaccines and interest in vaccines is very well known at this point, and generally pushed as being a conspiracy theory. But it's not a stretch to say that this is at least concerning. That one of the richest men in the world wants to rehabilitate his image whilst also having control over the water, the sky, and the crops.
Yeah.
It's very evil villain tier.
Oh, it's beyond James Bond villain tier. It really is. I mean, some James Bond villains are actually potentially, maybe not terrible. Maybe they are. I don't know. I liked Moonraker.
It's a Daily Mail article. Let me see if I can find a better one.
I was just going to say, I've just found this Forbes article which confirms Bill Gates is now America's biggest owner of farmland. So
Yep.
yeah, there we go. He is really moving on this, and yeah, he's getting ready to insist that, because there will still be farmers on this land, but they will now be renting from Bill Gates rather than owning. They've had to sell their farmland because they've been given an offer that they can't refuse, and yeah, Bill Gates is basically a mob boss, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. And Bill, if you're listening, come at me, bro.
Okay, it's amazing. Something I don't really have links for, but it's something I'm going to cover in future. Is that a few years ago, it might even be 10 years ago now, Bill Gates was at the head of this push for billionaires to give away, quote unquote, large portions of their fortune. But they didn't give them away. What they did was they put them into these Gates Foundation-esque organizations and put them in NGOs. And these NGOs are seen as nice, smiley faces for these billionaires to push whatever agenda that they want. The most famous of which, obviously, being the Open Society with Soros. But there's basically Soros he's a bit of a spook. He's a bit of a cope for people because these are widespread. It's not just that. It's not just imagine 100 Soroses, but with better PR. He's a bit too mustache twirling, and a lot of people use him really as a distraction.
Oh yeah, I think he's there on purpose. I think he is definitely because I've never liked him since the 90s when he tried to bankrupt my country. Screw that guy. But for the longest time, he has been the front man. It's very easy to point at George Soros and go, that guy is fucking evil. And then someone goes, you can't say that, he's Jewish, that's anti-Semitic. Which, no, the guy worked with the Nazis during the Second World War, finding Jews and taking their shit, and ever since then he's profited from the most freaking evil, devious, shitty behaviour a man can freaking do.
I want to do a stream at some point because I had a massive... It wasn't completely serious, and I think people take me far too seriously when I'm arguing hyperbolically and being deliberately reductive to make a point. About the fact that we can say as a moral judgment that on the whole, in terms of policy implementation, that the left has been a force for evil. Therefore, saying the left is evil is not a hyperbolic statement because intentions, put to one side and people's, foreknowledge and misguidedness, it's, doing evil without realizing it is still doing evil. And I think that a lot of the forces we can say, especially with globalism, neoconservatism as well, a lot of the establishment forces that we see within politics and a lot of the Gates Foundations and Open Society forums and all of this of the world, what they're doing is evil. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I don't think we should be shy of making moral judgments as opposed to just kind of intellectual kind of statements.
Look, You know me. You know me. I stand very firmly on the ground of government is a necessary evil. Yeah, but the smaller that evil is, the better. If I could go full Hoppian, ANCAPism, I would potentially kind of like that. I'm not going to go full Pinochet and start dropping. No, I would. Um, if I could only afford a helicopter and enough fuel.
Helicopter. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
there's an Intercept article actually. Getting a little bit off track. I don't want to bring this up. There's an Intercept article, pearl clutching about people having Hoppy and Snake memes during some protests. There's some people with Snaky boys, and they're getting really angry at memes again. They're talking about how when you have an article discussing in breathy, very serious terms Hoppy and Snake memes, you've got into Pepe, Hillary Clinton territory.
But it's good that they're afraid. Because, as I was saying, essentially, government, you need a certain amount of government. But the less, the better. And the left is always about more government. It's about positive rights. It's about taking away the rights of some to give more rights to others. Healthcare is a right, but that means you have to enslave your doctor, because if he wants to go home and someone has a right to healthcare and he's the only guy, you have to force him to actually do work. That's slavery. It's not a right. It can't be a right if you're enslaving people.
I'll put it in links, but we can just have a quick look at this, because it is from this month. This is from this month.
Oh, what have we got? Sorry, I was full rant then. I was.
Now this is the Intercept article. I just want to briefly show it because it is very, very funny.
Okay, yeah, let's.
Don't step on Sneck. Yes.
Never.
Steps. No Sneck stepping. Come on, guys. It's a friendly Sneck.
Sneck is good. Sneck is there to protect you. Sneck knows your rights.
Yes.
There we go. Oh God, go away, things. Right. When Trumpists use images of the Hoppy and Snake offering free helicopter rides, they're advocating a program of extermination.
Look at the guy. Look at the dude's sign. Look at the banner. Look at these signs. There's like a Pepe and a fucking Pinochet snake. This is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of shitposts. I mean, the Intercept used to be Glenn Greenwald's. This used to be made up of the people who leaked the fucking Prism files. But all those people have left. I mean, Glenn Greenwald very, very publicly and very famously last year departed the Intercept because he said they'd become a tool of the CIA. The people they were designed and founded to rail against. They'd worked hand in glove with them, he basically said. And he left the publication he co-founded. And they've kind of become, they've drifted from being. It's like the Chad Doge versus the Wimpy Doge meme. It's I broke the Prism files and I defied the U.S. military, and now 2021 is like someone made a snake meme that offends me.
Poor Cheems. Poor Cheems. I like Cheems.
Poor Cheems, yeah. Oh yeah, I like Cheems. Is a good boy. I like the Cheems memes. We have a couple. God, we do have a couple more things to cover here.
Go on.
God, sorry.
We've been on a rant for 45 minutes about Bill Gates' evil.
Yeah. There's some stuff behind the scenes here. We have a lot of links we pre-do in these, and it's sometimes difficult just because it's on our Discord server to sort these out. But the next thing we have to cover is Alexa. We have to talk about Alexa.
We've got to talk about Alexa, guys. Alexa
guys,
is gonna, yeah. Oh. I mean, where do you start with Alexa? Because there's what we've queued up, which is the Amazon Sidewalk. But I'm sorry, anybody that has Alexa in their house anyway in the first place is asking for trouble.
Yes, they are. They definitely are. But if you want to click on that, so there's an Amazon link there. Let's see what Amazon says about their own service first, because this has some of, I think, the most raw, like, how corporations put up pages like this to
go on then. Right, where are we?
To make them seem more friendly. It's got like peak corporate art, that flat people art thing going on that you see everywhere.
Let's see this.
Yes, Alexa, play Despacito. Oh shit! I should probably say before we dive into this, we do have another donation here from from Mr. HK9410, a long-time supporter of the channel. Thank
Boyd.
you very much, Mr. HK. $20. Very nice. Thank you very much. Not sure if it's enough, but have a pizza on me, lads. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And again, we do read all donations, and if I do miss any, I will put out a message. Nothing gets missed here. I'm pretty up on that. So yes, don't feel shy if you have some spare shekels. I know we shill quite a lot on this show, but it's useful. It's useful to remind people. But yes, look at that. Look at that, though. It has that flat people, overly friendly corporate. It's like a style unto itself. I know 4chan started doing it. I can't find it. There's a great one of Moon Man punching someone waving a trans flag in that art style.
It's kind of this horrible gender and race non-specific blue. It's Blue Man Group, but even worse.
Yeah.
No,
because they started doing a bunch of them. I've got a folder, but for the life of me, I can't remember what I called the images. But there's some hilarious 4chan parodies of this art style, some of which feature our good friend Moonman. But yes, Amazon Sidewalk, what is it? Connected convenience beyond your front door. Amazon Sidewalk is a shared network that helps devices like Amazon Echo, Ring security cameras, outdoor lights, and motion sensors work better at home and beyond the front door. When enabled, Sidewalk can allow unique benefits to your devices, support other Sidewalk devices in your community, and even open the door to new innovations like locating items connected to Sidewalk. That in itself is okay. Basically what it is they're not saying it here, but it's a connected network. Yeah. Basically, what Amazon wants to do, and if you bring up the CNET article and we start comparing it to this one, I think is the best way of doing it.
Go on then. Okay.
Go back and forth between them, because the CNET article actually says what it is, which is the fact that it's enabled by default, which is one of the more nefarious things about it. If this was just a feature they were trying for people's benefit, it would not be on automatically. But yeah, Amazon Sidewalk has automatically switched on in your Alexa app, which means that all Amazon devices are now connected together like fucking Skynet.
Yep. And it's not just all Amazon stuff in your house are connected to your network. No. It's all Amazon stuff in your house, the next door. The whole street is all now sharing a chunk of each other's network. So that, you've got better connectivity as you walk around the street and everything else. It's Amazon's taking a chunk of your bandwidth and saying that's theirs now. So
the thing is, it's security systems too. It's security cameras. Basically, Amazon is claiming ownership of all your devices, and it's all on by default. And most people might not even realize it. Amazon is basically stealing portions of everyone's internet to spy on them, because they are.
What was it as well? I saw something the other day. There was an article. I'm going to try and find it in just a moment. Where
the one about is it about Alexa?
No, it wasn't about Alexa specifically, but it was about a security guy who was fitting connected cameras and connectivity cameras, etc., that were web enabled, and then was using them to, she was attractive. Let's go and have a look at what's going off in her house. Oh, she's got a date over. Really? Oh, they're getting, and watching people in their homes because.
Not to dox myself, but I very briefly worked for the parent company of a company that is under the umbrella of ADT. It was ADT. It was fucking ADT.
It was ADT. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
It's ADT and actually Tyco Security. I don't want to get sued here, but what I will say is that they were not particularly great to work with. In fact, they were so incompetent after I very forcefully and quite unceremoniously cancelled their contract because they were not giving me anything that they promised me. They tried to hire me a second time because their HR is so stupid that they didn't realize I'd already been there and resigned. I will say ADT and its parent company, Johnson Controls, are not a particularly competent company to work with or for. And this is a good example of that because their software doesn't seem to be able to detect when people are adding unwanted email addresses to access your security system. It's kind of abhorrent.
There we go. ADT, sorry, the 200 ADT Pulse accounts spied on them to look at female customers whilst they were in the shower, whilst they were having sex with dates, etc., etc. So if you think you've got I've got a great system, it's all connected to the internet. My front door's connected up, and I can open and shut this from my mobile phone. Yes, you can, and so can anybody else who knows what they're doing on the internet. I worked in IT security for the longest time. That's why I have a normal key on my front door, and I do not have these systems in my house because they are atrocious.
Neither do I. I
Do
don't have
not.
an Alexa. I refuse to get smart TV.
I begrudgingly have a mobile phone that's a smartphone. I've said it so many times.
Yeah,
when
I
it
have
breaks,
to for work.
when it breaks, I'm going back to a dumb phone. And really, seriously, they are all horrendous for security. They all listen to you. They are all very easy to access from the outside. Nightmare. We are living in a nightmare world. And yeah, there you go.
Again, this should be concerning. I don't know how people can hand wave this away. Amazon tracks all your devices by default, and they steal part of your internet. They are creating their own joined up network of everyone. Everyone is now all joined together, and all your data from all your devices is being funneled to Amazon.
Absolute clown world. I cannot believe if you told people in the 80s you were going to set up spying listening devices in everyone's home, which we've seen what was it, Scotland want to use Amazon devices to snitch on people saying rude words and offensive words, and then arrest them in their own home for saying, I mean, a Scotsman saying a rude word, who would have thought? But yeah, no, you let the government plug in with Amazon onto these things, we're screwed. It's 1984 on acid. It really is. And don't buy it. Don't buy it. When someone gives you one for free, take it outside, stick it on your barbecue, set fire to it. Go, thank you. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that charcoal briquette.
Sorry about the typing there. Here's one from Time magazine.
Ooh.
If I put it in links.
Yep,
it's the fact that thousands of Amazon workers listen to Alexa users' conversations. The way that they quote unquote use your audio to improve their services is that what they do is they listen to your conversations manually, and they see why Alexa is misinterpreting what you're saying. And a lot of these are outsourced to places like India. It's the same with YouTube as well. A lot of YouTube's review process is outsourced to third world countries, which is a lot of people theorize that's why a lot of LGBT videos get demonetized. It's Pakistanis in the madrasas who are actually reviewing them, which is kind of hilarious.
Third world countries and outposts such as Boston, Costa Rica, India, and Romania. I'm not sure if Boston's quite a third world. Second world, maybe. I mean, communism is usually second world, right?
I don't know, man. I've seen Massachusetts gun laws. They're not a first world country.
So yeah, if you want to insult a Romanian any given time, yeah, just tell rude, jokes about gypsies to your Alexa. I suppose if you have to, have an Alexa, by all means. But they're horrifying.
So, here we go. Sometimes they hear recordings they find upsetting or possibly criminal. 2 of the workers said they picked up what they believed to be a sexual assault. When something like that happens, they may share the experience in the internal chat room, quote unquote, as a way of revealing stress. So basically, Amazon workers share your audio and laugh at it or are concerned over it. They might just have picked up 2 people's fucking kinky play.
Yeah.
They might just have picked up a harmless couple role-playing. But in the future, if Amazon is given permission to use Alexa audio, I know one police force was talking about it. Was it Scotland who was talking about using Alexa audio in cases?
Yeah. Yeah, they wanted Alexa to be able to contact the police station when you used a gamer word. Which, frankly, I would stick. If you got an Alexa and you have to have one, stick it next to your TV. Play Boys in the Hood? Basically late 80s, early 90s black gangster movies and stuff like that. Maybe a couple of blaxploitation movies, The Pimp, etc. Play those to Amazon or Alexa all day, every day. And in Scotland, may take a day or so before the police arrive.
Yeah, crimes will be last reported through smartwatch and Alexa devices, part of communications overhaul by Police Scotland. Yes, I can't get any of the links to load because one of the best one I found is the Times, and that just won't load for me for some reason because of my aggressive script blocking that I use. But yeah, that is one thing that happens now. That Alexa now can connect to police in places like Scotland. Now, it's voluntary right now, but it could be the case that that it won't be voluntary in future. Dun dun dun.
It's a nightmare.
Right.
Just don't have these things in your house. They will try and do it via your phone. Your phone already listens to you. Anybody that thinks your phone isn't listening to you, it is. It simply is. Do what I do. Keep your mobile phone in a soundproof box and basically not in the same room as you until you go out the house and use it as a mobile phone. And yeah, that's as good as you can do if you have to have one. But there's only so far down the dystopian rabbit hole you can get away from it without literally going, Montana mountain man writing your own manifesto in a little wooden hut, which is kind of based, to be honest.
I'm gonna say though, what's wrong with that, Trig? Some of the best people have been Montana mountain men, writing their own stuff in a little hut.
I mean, yeah. I hear land in Montana's quite cheap as well. Maybe in a few years' time, who knows? I jest,
anyway,
of course.
I think we've got a final story. We'll probably go over a few other things, but
okay.
Yeah, it's extreme. A lot of people haven't been talking about this though. The whole Alexa. What are they calling it? It's Alexa Sidewalk. That's it. So it's got such a generic, deliberately harmless name. And this fucking page talking about peace of mind, stay connected, designed to protect your privacy. It's all on your terms. It's like, no, it's not. It's on by default, which is kind of a dark pattern thing.
Yeah.
They enabling a setting by default is a great indicator of what your intentions are. And doing that with, essentially listening devices, network devices, and stealing people's internet is wrong. Again, it's another example of the tech evil.
Yeah, I mean, if Amazon came up and went, you know what, we want to do this. It's going to require 5% of your internet to be shared with X amount of people and whoever's using it. So therefore, we're prepared to pay for 10% of your internet connection. You know what? Make it optional and give people that, and offer to pay a chunk of their internet connection. You know what? People might go for that. People might be interested, and that would be fair. But you just go, oh, this enables this. We're just going to enable this and see how many people actually realize and switch it off. Is scummy to say the least. Again, Jeff Bezos, come at me, bro. I'm willing to take bribes. You can pay me off. It's going to be an 8-figure sum, but
I will say, I know a few of you guys have gone to watch. I know Sargon's streaming right now with Louis.
God damn it, Sargon!
It's fine. They'll be on for quite a while, I imagine.
Yeah.
And I would say once you finish this stream, if you guys stick with us, I would recommend probably going to that one because I do like. I've been actually watching Louis streams quite a bit. Yeah. He's quite long-winded, but I like Louis' opinions. He's pretty fucking based.
I like Louis' opinions. You were going to see if you could get hold of Louis and bring him on the stream.
Oh yeah, he was on seal of approval a few weeks ago. I don't want to. I want to try and rotate guests in and out. So there's not too many of them.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll probably be done in about 30 minutes ish, guys. Because as you know, we try to keep these to about an hour and a half, so the VOD's watchable. A lot of people actually, we tend to get over 1,000 views on each video in VOD form. I think more people watch these as videos than they do live, which is. It's good. It's fine.
Awesome. Yeah.
But we try and keep this a manageable length for you guys. So.
We must be almost monetized on this by now. Is this?
I'm still in review for an AdSense account.
That review might. Yeah.
I think I had an AdSense account a very long time ago, but I don't know the email address associated with it, and I don't know where it is. So that might cause some complications. But yeah, actually, guys, we are eligible for monetization, and I am currently going through that process, which is kind of funny. We probably won't get monetized, but we can try.
Ooh, that would be awesome. I don't know how long it would take to them to demonetize us, but yeah, no, that'd be awesome. Fantastic. Where are you? So yes, I've derailed us with talk of mystical unicorns such as monetization from YouTube. But no,
That's
this
fine. We are up to the. Oh, did you put up the My Alexa image?
I did.
The splash image that I made.
I'm afraid I can't do that, bigot.
Yeah. I'm afraid I don't have one for the vaccine passport. I run out of time because my computer restarted itself. But yeah, we do have one more story, which is the vaccine passports. Which is again something we're going to have to contend with. It's another story I think that slipped under people's radars.
It's
the fact that there's this tech coalition that's anyway. Trig, you brought this to my attention, so do you want to go through this one?
Yeah, it's basically as I've read it. The thing is, a couple of people brought this up in Parliament and for governments. Are you going to bring up this sort of a passport, some way of being able to show that people have had the vaccine and allow them to travel because of it? And oh no, we wouldn't do something as horrifying as an dystopian as that. And then in the background, we find that Microsoft, the Mayo Clinic, Oracle, and various other organizations are putting together exactly that. So that you could have on your phone, you've had a vaccine, and they will have access to your medical records to make sure that you've had that vaccine, and then they'll give you a little QR code on your phone so you can wave it at things and it'll go bleep, and oh yes, this person is safe to travel.
There's also been some backpedaling with the UK government on that too.
Yeah, it has. It's nightmarish. Again, it's Chinese social credit score system. Have you ever seen that the Orville, the Star Trek Next Generation spiritual successor? TV.
Yes, I have. I've seen the Orville. The Orville's pretty good.
Yeah, have you seen? You remember the episode where everyone was wandering around with the badge with the up and the down arrows, and they were being voted up and down, and you get too many thumbs down, and that's it. You're in for the electric chair, and you get your brain zapped because you're no longer socially acceptable. It's that sort of tier. It really is kind of horrendous.
Yeah, the Orville's kind of like it's a little bit Hitchhiker's Guide meets Next Gen meets Black Mirror.
Yeah.
In a way, it was originally pitched as a comedy because it's Seth MacFarlane, but he snuck in basically the best Star Trek show that's been made since DS9.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm a big fan of the Orville. It's great. But
we don't talk about modern Star Trek. Modern Star Trek's pretty naff. I mean, I thought Voyager was pretty bad.
Voyager was okay. 7 of 9 made things peak up for a bit.
It got a lot better when they got rid of Kess and minimized the appearances of Neelix.
Replaced Kess with 7 of 9, and suddenly everything was looking up. And then DS9 was great. Enterprise actually wasn't as bad as everyone thinks.
It's been a long road.
Don't. Okay. The goddamn awful fucking music. No, not the just horrible rock intro.
I've got faith.
Okay.
Watch she's get like content matched for that.
Okay.
She's getting a content match.
Awful intro music aside, they had
Into the heart. It's like modern country shit. It sounds like God rock.
It was God rock. It was so bad, but they had the good sense that whenever their ratings were dropping, they would stick Jolene Blalock into the decontamination chamber and have the captain rub gel all over her while she was wearing a bikini. They did. You know what? That worked a treat. Plus, they also had lots and lots of episodes with.
The ratings are dropping.
Ratings are dropping. Sexy Vulcan. Gel, quickly!
Lots of episodes with what, sorry?
What's his face? The guy who was in Reanimator, whose name is just shot straight out of my head. He's got to be the most prolific actor in Star Trek, Jeffrey Combs. Jeffrey Combs is brilliant. Yes. He was Wei-Yun in DS9. He played the blue guy, the Andorian, and he's just in loads of stuff. And every single episode.
Pink skin.
Every single episode, in fact, even every film Jeffrey Combs is in, is excellent. I have a bit of a man crush on Jeffrey Combs. I don't care. He was excellent in The Reanimator. He's excellent in Reanimator 2. He is just excellent in everything he does. Jeffrey Combs is an absolute boss.
That's that's COMBS, not COOMS.
Yes.
He's not Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs.
Oh no.
But
no. This news we've kind of seen the fruit of now. It's a good way to show that no, what we're talking about is not like it seems the pipeline from conspiracy to establish facts is about 3 months now.
Yeah.
That's about as long as it's got.
Yes. Oh yeah, the vaccine initiative. Yeah. Sorry, I was on Jeffrey Combs fanboying for a second now, and I'd lost track.
Let's keep it on topic.
Keep my cooming to on topic,
yes.
Indeed. Microsoft, Mayo Clinic, the Oracle, and now governments are basically considering having you. I mean, you're going to have a smartphone for this. They're going to have to make sure that everybody has a smartphone, because otherwise your passport won't work, because it's not going to be something that you can have on a piece of paper. It's going to have to be digital. So that means the government are going to pay for my smartphone. Are they going to give me a smartphone? I don't think so.
Nope. This does require a smartphone. Again, it requires a large amount of tracking as well. And this places the data in the hands of... What companies did it say? Sorry, it's Oracle.
Oracle?
It's
Microsoft, Mayo Clinic, that's this one. There may be other people involved. I mean, you know what really bothers me here is Oracle. I've always held Oracle in pretty high regard for a long time. They've kept their head down. They've sat there being the backbone of the internet, quietly serving the world the internet without really getting themselves into too much trouble. And now this. So this is a bit sad. Maybe I've been giving them a pass for too long. Maybe I haven't been digging deep enough. I will be perfectly honest. I was offered a job with Oracle a long time ago. Back it was in 98, 99 time, and I turned them down like an absolute fool. I ended up working for somebody else because I was offered significantly more money, and probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my my employment was that. But no, there we go. The coalition comprises of Microsoft, Salesforce, they sound trustworthy, Oracle, Cerner, Cygnus, Evernorth, healthcare software firm Epic, and the Mayo Clinic, amongst many others. The aim of the Vaccine Credential Initiative is to create an open source standard model that for now hospitals, pharmacies, clinics administering COVID-19 vaccines to make digital records of immunizations, which can be provided to patients who want them, and then on to governments and anybody else that needs to see this. The thing is,
where's your papers? Where's your papers, citizen?
I don't know if you probably remember this. Every single time I've seen the government try to get involved in standardizing healthcare records, it costs vast sums of money, and it goes absolutely tits up. It always goes horrendously wrong. It does.
There's always horrendous leaks. There's always horrendous misplacements of data. There's always errors. But it's amazing. It's just amazing that we've had all this situation, and all these multinational companies are just there to soak up profit and benefit from this.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't going to be... They're not doing this out of the goodness of their own hearts.
Oh, no.
It's going to cost money.
Oh, no, and you'll put this will be an app, this will go onto your phone, and like every other single app, everyone will go, oh, yes, terms of service, yes, I accept, and you don't realise that you've just signed away your kidney, your liver, your firstborn, the end of your penis, and all of your data.
Yes. Yes, you have. Before we get further down this conspiracy rabbit hole, though, we've had a couple more donations here. Namu Zed with $5. Mine's introduced me to Solus Sands, who has a great video about the corporate art style. Okay, I've not seen that. I watched it after.
Cool.
And yeah, it is a definite thing, this stupid corporate art style thing. And Mr. Twisted Frenzy with a $5 donation saying, sorry to interrupt the blackpilling, but have you guys heard the new GME sea chanty called Bones in the Ocean? Channel's name is SW4Y, so like a elite styled sway. I'll check that out after as well. And these are both very relevant. Thank you for the donations, and thank you for the relevant piece of information, guys. That's awesome. That's very good. But yes, the vaccine passport. What will this? The thing is, we were told that these weren't coming. We were assured by the UK government that these weren't coming.
It was absolutely dystopian. What sort of a horrible monster would do such a thing? We were also told what sort of horrible monster would cancel Christmas and cancel the New Year, and they goddamn well did it anyway. And seriously, Boris, seriously, we voted you in. Why? Why did we vote you in? Well, we voted you in out of fear of communism. And what have you given us? Fucking communism, basically. Dystopian goddamn nightmare.
We're in month 11 of 2 weeks to flatten the curve,
Yeah. Oh, wait.
We're trying to cover not quite as relevant or missed out stories here, but it all links into these big stories. It's all conglomerating together. It all makes sense, guys. The red lines are all matching up.
You wait, dude. You wait till the 3rd of March when they bring out the budget, and we all find out exactly how much this last year is going to cost us in taxes.
Well, this all links into again to it. Yes, it is. It's going to be awful come the end of the tax year. But this also links into another initiative that many people haven't heard of called ID 2020, which was founded before the pandemic, but seems to be weirdly geared towards it.
Oh, is this the Forbes article? Is this one?
It's not a Forbes article. It's by a site called Ledger Insights. I'm not sure who they are. Enterprise Blockchain News. But they come with a story here from 9 months ago saying that advisor resigns from ID 2020 objecting to blockchain immunity passports for COVID-19. Because a lot of this stuff has been reintegrated into other kind of other initiatives again from this Agenda 2030. ID 2020 is part of that stuff. They're all from the same source. They're all a lot of NGOs, and they're all a lot of busybodies who seem to want to push out technology, one, that isn't ready, and two, that is crippling to societal privacy. This was 9 months ago. As we've seen, this has really morphed into the immunity passport that Oracle and Microsoft and all these other companies have backed. I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but I think these projects were folded together at one point. It's difficult to find a lot of information on that, although I have seen them mentioned in kind of the same breath because they're the same kind of initiative, the whole immunity passport thing. ID 2020 is a bit ripe again for a lot of people who are ascribing things to it that they aren't doing. But basically, ID 2020 is basically an idea of making a global form of ID that everyone will have to carry. It's basically the supranational. It's the globalist initiative for, show me your IDs, civilian.
Can I just read out? This ID alliance was founded by Accenture, Microsoft, Gravi, Rockefeller Foundation, and IDEO. And partners include MasterCard. You cannot get. I mean,
as well as NGOs and UN agencies. Yeah.
This is
the same thing. Yeah.
So fucking nightmarish. It's untrue. No, I will not. I do not consent. Get fucked. Do not step. I will defend myself. Right, gun with intent. Anyway. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm loading freaking guns around my phone.
You do need to, yeah. These are airsoft guns, by the way.
They are airsoft guns.
They're also in Minecraft.
I play silly airsoft games because you know what the great thing about airsoft is? You can run around a field all weekend shooting children with your airsoft guns, and you get to do it again the next weekend. It's great. I mean,
okay. Sorry, I've seen this. Yeah, the ID 2020 stuff was actually folded into this newer initiative that's been re-announced, basically. Digital vaccine ID cards a reality. So they went from this alliance and statement that a lot of people said was immature, not ready, they're going to cause massive privacy concerns. They've gone full steam ahead, and now they're ready to announce the reality of it in 2021. Talking about smart health cards, encrypted vaccine records stored in a digital wallet. Yes, it is. It's the same thing. It's the quote-unquote blockchain technology.
Yep.
I thought I'd link these. Yes, these two are the same initiative. One has matured from the other, as we've seen. So, it's, again, a lot of people have said this isn't good, it's not going to work, there's a lot of privacy concerns. I don't think they've fixed them in the last 9 months. It seems they've just barreled ahead with it. And again, it's a massive conglomeration of a lot of the same people who are pushing the Great Reset stuff, the Agenda 2030 stuff.
It's horrendous.
Bill Gates, again, has his own kind of farming Agenda 2030 equivalent that's been mentioned in a lot of the UN stuff. A lot of it does fall back into each other and references each other. And the reason people see this as a grand conspiracy is because, well, they reference each other. They're talked about in the same breath. ID 2020 has been mentioned in a lot of the UN documents about the Great Reset. It's also been mentioned in a lot of the documents about Agenda 2030. These are all forks, all tentacles of the same monster. They are all parts of the same initiative. And this is all a matter of public record. They aren't even hiding it. Yeah. Namz's got it right. He's got the reference there. Pick up that can. It is very Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
It's getting extremely Half-Life 2 up in here. I don't know. We got about probably another 15 minutes left of the stream. So if you guys want to put some questions in chat, and we can do those at the end. We're not running out of things to say yet, but I just want to preempt it by saying if you guys have any questions, please do put them in chat, and we will try and answer them at the end. Obviously, you can donate to get something read out on stream to guarantee that. And yeah, we like to have a bit of audience participation here because you guys have stuck with us. I know there's a few other people streaming tonight. There's more than I realized at first, actually. So thanks for sticking with us. And to those guys watching the VOD, I hate to be that leave a comment and subscribe guy, but like, seriously, a lot of that stuff does help. So interacting with the channel is a big thing you can do without donating. Yeah, I know it's really YouTubery to say it, but it's true. We also need a better chat widget as well, because that one's a bit too small. I found a couple, but a lot of them are geared towards Twitch chat, unfortunately.
It is.
Not YouTube chat.
I was working on something with somebody else, with my friend Stasi, our friend Stasi, and he reckons he can get this to look a little better, but we haven't got it working yet. So at the present moment, it is a bit, unfortunately.
I'm afraid we're in Squinto vision for the chat right now, guys.
Yeah, maybe I might have a word with Uzlu as well, because he's good at this type of stuff. He's managed to integrate his chat with his Discord and all sorts of stuff, and I don't want to give him too much credit because that might go to his head, and then his hat wouldn't fit. But yeah, no, he's a good lad, and hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe. I know I said it was going to happen last week, but it didn't, because once again we hadn't quite got the characters finished. But maybe tomorrow I'll be doing D&D with Uzlu, and we'll be streaming that.
Well, to mention what we were talking about earlier, a lot of this is an effort, in conjunction with supranational organizations like the UN, to create ID that everyone on the planet has to carry that can be tracked. Yeah. So it's really a extra tentacle of the global tracking. And this should concern people. The problem is that if something can be misused in a way, it likely will be misused in a way. Like, you can't hand people a blank check and not expect them to use it.
Oh, God, yeah. They will
and the problem we have with this...
They will never not go for the worst, most nightmarish option. It's always, oh yes, well we're just putting this in, these hate speech laws, that's just so that the worst possible cases can be dealt with if they need be. Oh no, it's 10 years later, let's go after the guy that's made the edgy joke about the dog. Nonsense. They will always go for the nightmarish option. They can't not. Power will always drive itself to more power. They can't not do it. It is the way of things. Never let them have it in the first place. It's the only option. And we may need to take it back at some point in Minecraft.
In Minecraft, yes. At the moment, they're not competent enough to join it up.
Yeah, at the moment. Yes, at the moment they might not be able to. Big Tech will take the lead, but eventually Big Tech will go, here you go, big government. You've done this big deal for us, and well, thank you for that handshake and that massive tax cut, and we'll give you the keys to this. And suddenly they've got all the data monitoring and data mining they need.
Well, the problem is as well, a lot of this is also being done by private companies, which tend to sell on your data. Yeah. And a lot of these companies have a presence in China and tend to sell on data to other companies that aren't quite as scrupulous. Mm-hmm. So it's not good because it's very much also a step towards a social credit score thing. Yeah. The government, you'll have an account which tracks your vaccines, it tracks your credit scores, it tracks everything about you. And they'll do it in the same way the Chinese government did it, in that they try and argue that this makes your life more convenient. It's a one-stop shop. You want to know who's trustworthy and who isn't. You want to know who's vaccinated and who isn't. And basically, what they'll do is try and make all this knowledge public. So we could conceivably see a future where the government uses an app to publicly shame people who won't take these vaccines. There's also the issue, which is a separate issue, in that a lot of the biochem companies, a lot of the pharmaceutical companies are coming out with these vaccines as a profit-making vector. You remember there's the Goldman Sachs thing about is curing illness is a bad business model?
Oh
There's
God, yeah, of course. Where have we got that to hand? I will, because that is proper nightmarish stuff.
Well, it's coming to fruition now because we're seeing a lot of these companies scrambling to get these untested quote-unquote booster vaccines. And it's a case that I don't think it's too hyperbolic to say that we will have to take these every year until we make them stop doing this. That you will have a mandatory flu vaccine. Like, it's going to go from voluntary to mandatory. You'll have a mandatory flu vaccine that you'll have to take if you want to travel anywhere and if you want to attend large events. And it's going to be continuous because they keep finding these new strains, quote unquote. Oh, by the way, the vaccine works on these new strains, but apparently it doesn't. It both works and it doesn't. The line that they go with now is it prevents quote unquote severe illness, but doesn't prevent illness. So that's why we need all these alternate vaccines.
There we go. That was a couple of years ago. Goldman Sachs actually said in a biotech research report, is curing patients a sustainable business model? These are the fucking people we're dealing with. They would rather hook you up for drugs for the rest of your life than actually cure you.
Well, if you think about how much money are they going to make if they are giving everyone in westernized countries who'll pay for it a vaccine every single, well, not even every year, every 6 months. If these biotech firms are able to make governments pay for hundreds of millions of doses of useless vaccine, essentially, that they are coming out with all these obscure strains of what amounts to, common seasonal flus. See, flus always mutate. That's why we get them every year. That's why we get different ones every year. And this is a way of turning that into an industry. Billions are being made off this, and I don't think questioning that is a bad thing. Again, it's been linked in with emotional arguments and killing grandma, but this is what it is. We are now essentially beholden to pay money. You were essentially paying protection money to AstraZeneca and all these massive multinational corporations to be allowed to travel.
Yep.
And you are having to hand over your data to Microsoft, to Oracle, to all these companies. It's being allowed to travel. It's a shakedown.
Oh, yeah. And you know what they're going to do? Is they're going to do the whole, if you don't have anything to hide, why would you be against this bullshit that they always pull whenever anybody kicks off about these things? It's always the same. It's always if you don't have anything to hide, why wouldn't you want something listening in on your house at all times? It will save your life when someone breaks into your house. You wouldn't want someone to break into your house and kill your wife, would you?
To those in chat who keep mentioning it, yes, for some reason, even though I turn it off every time, the auto-moderator on YouTube turns itself back on. So occasionally you may have... I'm not doing that. Your comments will get auto-deleted occasionally. I'm sorry about that. I turn it off every so often, but it re-enables itself.
It's kind of on point, really, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, YouTube's not great for that. But yeah, it's pretty terrible. And I apologize if your questions got deleted. But that's just how YouTube works. It's very difficult to get past its filtering because you have to constantly keep disabling it.
Have we had any more super chats, decent questions, etc.?
We have had a good one.
I've had a good rant.
One I want to finish off on here, really. Again, if you have anything to send it now. We'll be finishing probably in the next 5 minutes. But there's one here from Glowy for $3. Good name, by the way. I'm surprised no one has mentioned that in America, water is now a commodity almost like stocks. Bill Gates has purchased areas... along with farmland of fresh water stocks. Oh, yeah, that does make sense. So his stuff about buying up farmland, he's also been buying up fresh water sources as well, which makes sense. I mean, you want to control both, but again, it's another part of these billionaires. They will control the water, they will control all the farmland, they will even control how much sunlight you can get. Along with controlling your biological security, controlling your bodily autonomy, saying where you can travel, saying when you can travel, constantly selling you vaccines you don't actually really need if you're a healthy person. The seasonal flu vaccine is only offered to vulnerable people. Used to be only offered to vulnerable people. It's now being replaced by these, scary COVID variant vaccines. Yeah, it's that they're saying the quiet part loud these days almost. They really are just talking about the fact that people are stupid, therefore we need to control everything. You know, Africa's stupid, therefore we need to control all the seeds that they have and the crops that they grow and their entire ecosystem. The planet's warming, therefore we're going to block out the sunlight. Oopsie doopsie, you know, we need to sell you, sunlight dimming resistant crops now. It's not a stretch. All these things aren't, on their own they can try and hand wave them away, as we saw with the hilarious Snopes fact check. But you can't help but see a big picture here. God damn it, Trig. I see what you're doing.
I'm just advertising a good film that I enjoyed watching recently.
Kill Volume 1.
Sorry.
Get on the nose there. Trig, please. I don't want to get us shut down. I'm trying to get us monetized here.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself there. It was probably inadvisable.
We're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
In Minecraft, it's gonna be great.
It's a great film.
Again, I think it's time to do our end time shilling though now. Is
Yep.
there anything you've got to shill here, Trig?
Shill
your minds.
Yeah, by all means, follow me on Minds. Again, I did way better than any other social media I've been on in a long time. I go on Twitter. I am angry, usually within about 15 minutes. On Minds,
I'm angry. Angry about Twitter.
I just keep on finding really, really nice bits of art and stories and other stuff on Minds, and it's a kind of chill time. I like Minds.
Minds is good fun. Again, we shilled it early in the stream, but we are double shilling it here because it is about an hour and a half. I'm sure that people will have missed the beginning of this at some point, but yeah, this is our major social media platform now, where our presence is. I will also say links down below to, again, Dev's channel, Rose's channel, and my Discord server. I always forget to shill the Discord, but there is a link to my Discord server down there. It's pretty chill these days. I've managed to stamp out any drama that goes on in there, so I would actually recommend my server these days. It's very autistic, as they all are, but it is a good time if you guys are into that kind of thing.
Can I just say, I just looked into in chat and sort of realised that some people are sort of like, good God, there's a lot of black pills here. This is not black. I really don't think of this as blackpilling. This is being aware of some of the stuff that's out there. There is time. There are things we can do to not end up in the dystopia that we're heading down. It is very easy to not have an Alexa in your house. When someone gives you one, set it on fire. You don't have. They can't literally force you to have these things. They are going to try to. They will want you to have them. You don't have to. It is as simple. I do not comply. I literally do not consent. Yeah, to the raping that they are going to try.
You just have to be mindful about that.
Yeah,
I haven't won yet. This isn't all going off yet. This is all very much in the planning stages. A lot of it. We have 5 to 10 years really before this becomes as nightmarish as it could do. So just be vigilant. The thing is, it's out there in the open. There are things you can do about it, and a lot of the time they seem to trip themselves up. The biggest saving grace we have about global bureaucracy is how incompetent they are.
Yeah.
They are extremely incompetent and inefficient, and they tend to stab each other in the back. So it's just a case of being mindful. Like, I don't want to be as blackpill as we were during the human intelligence, but that the covert human
intelligence bill, that is still nightmarish, and I need to look into that because that is due to go through any time now. I believe it did get held up with a few
but yeah.
Yes. Recommendations for changing it, but I need to do a follow-up on that one because
again, apologies again for the day change. I know we need to have a consistent day for the stream. It will be on Thursdays unless something comes up. That is our usual day. Thursdays, 9 p.m. UK time is when we do Starman on the Boomer. We've had a decent viewership actually today, considering that's on the wrong day and against a few people. So thanks you guys for coming.
Yeah.
And I will end on saying, if you guys want to watch Louis and Silent, I've linked their video in the chat. Tell them Scrump sent you, lol. I know they've got like 1,000 people watching, but but do go in there and at least a small raid. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Who else is? Oh, Harrian Gladiv is streaming as well with Discordia. They're our good friends as well.
Oh yeah,
I like Harrian. He's a good boy. Good. You recently did a pretty cool 24-hour stream. So,
he did
for charity.
He did. Yes. Yeah, no, Harry is a good lad, and yeah, Disco. I've known Disco. I've known Disco like longer than just about anybody else in this sort of sphere. I met Disco at the slightly infamous London meetup where somebody flew a Kyrgyzstan flag off a kid's
Oh, the
playground.
playground. Yeah, the playground one. Oh, that
That
was pretty
incident,
terrible.
that yeah, and I was the guy talking to the police, going, no, they're actually not dangerous or in any ways.
They're just autistic,
They're just a
okay?
bunch
They're
of
just autistic.
internet autists, and they're basically harmless. Please leave us alone. Look
But
over there.
yes.
There's a guy completely naked wearing wings because it was Gay Pride Week or
Oh
weekend,
God, yeah,
and
it was.
it was we were by far the least weird people about that day. There were some very strange sights that day, and only some of them were that particular group of
Yes.
Kekistanis. God, that's just so cringe now. But it was fun. That's where I met Discordia, and it was yeah, good times. Good times.
I will also say a quick thing. I also tend to put out community posts probably about twice a week. I'll put out a couple of memes and maybe a poll. Since YouTube seems to like you interacting with those, that's a big help as well. Just like if you watch out for your feed, a lot of people will see them automatically because it serves them to you quite heavily. I know there's quite a famous video by the Spiffing Brit that talks about that. But the community function is actually pretty good on YouTube. I've been using it ever since I started using the channel again. And apparently, accidentally, I've been getting you guys to see my videos quite well, but it might be partly responsible for the channel's pretty decent growth and pretty decent retention. So again, thank you guys. You guys have been great. I know we've only been doing this a couple of months, and I know we've been a little bit on and off with it, and it's been a little bit unreliable. But like for the effort we've been putting in, the low effort we've been putting in, the rewards actually we've seen have been pretty great. So again, thank you guys. It's been pretty more than I've been expecting in terms of launching on YouTube.
Yes.
Because I've been kind of fearful of doing it because it's very difficult to get discoverability. I know a few people who run channels who only get, 200 views on videos, and they do decent content, but they are just shafted by the way that YouTube works in terms of discoverability.
Yeah.
So again, thanks you guys for sticking with us, and we will have a stream again next week. I'm not sure what on, but it'll be spicy as always.
Of course. Of course. When is it? Thursday? That is the 18th. Yes. Yeah. No. That's yeah. I don't have any problems with with Thursday. Let's hope. Are you still going to be doing early starts and stuff at that point?
No, I won't be.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
in that case, we will
Should be
see
good.
all of
See
you
you Thursday,
lovely
yes.
crowds of people in chat on Thursday.
Have a good one, guys.
Take care.